everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Cross Atlantic Gaming. Today, I'm joined with WaterLou.
Hey, you guys remember me?
Good friend of the show, and my old podcast host buddy from the Risky Radio days.
Very true.
We are here today to go over our trip to PAX East. This was our fourth year?
Yep, fourth year.
Fourth year. If at any time the audio sounds weird here, we are recording in the same room on the same mic, just like when we first started podcasting together.
Way back in the day.
Back to the good old days. So, we are going over our PAX East trip, PAX East 2019. Why don't we quick tell a little story about our trip to PAX East?
The story? It was a great story. So they decided, Zach decided to put me in charge of driving. So that means Zach was in charge of navigating. And we're driving, and, first off, we almost start going west to get to Boston, but...
Which, if you don't know your geography here, Syracuse is in the middle of New York State, and Niagara Falls / Buffalo, which is west, that's just the complete opposite way that you want to start driving. So we were about to get on the thruway, and I was like, Lewis, east, please don't go west. We don't need to go to Niagara Falls if we're trying to get to Boston, a city on the Atlantic coast. So that was the first...
But we avoided that. We avoided it, so we kept driving, and then I was told to follow signs for Boston / New York City. Earlier in the drive, you did say that you wanted to go to New York, so, maybe subconsciously, the GPS picked it up and took us there anyways.
So we eventually decided, we were a good 2.5 hours in, probably. Oh, yeah. Boston's maybe like 5 hours from us. And Lou was like, hey, do you want to drive? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So we pulled off at a rest stop. I got out of the car, we did whatever, got back in the car, and I was like, all right, well, I'm driving, so I'm going to start up the GPS because that's what a responsible driver should do. They should have their GPS in front of them, ready to navigate the roads. I put in the GPS, and somehow it says we still have 3.5 hours until we hit Boston.
Yeah.
That wasn't great. We were in...
We were like a half hour outside of New York City.
Yeah, we were in Newburgh, which is just about a half hour outside of New York City. So we had driven pretty much south instead of east.
Yeah.
So that was good. We were supposed to get in at 10. I think we got in at like midnight.
It was a 2-hour detour, so, it's not the worst thing.
So we did miss Thursday of PAX, but that's a new thing. So
yeah,
we hadn't really done that.
Second year. Last year was his first time doing it or something?
Yeah, so we weren't there at all, and that's when Gearbox, they announced Borderlands 3, so we kind of missed all that, but we got to see it from home, which is probably the quickest way to do it anyways. And I know the guys from the podcast already went over that last episode, so Borderlands 3 looks awesome. So it's Friday morning, we get to the show.
We're in line, the smell of nerds and...
the smell of... Quickly tell me what the smell of nerds smells like.
Well, just lift up yourself and just do a little smell, and that's pretty much what it was, just in a confined queue that we were standing in.
So just a bunch of deodorantless people.
Oh yeah, and I was fully deodorized that day too.
But still drenched in sweat.
Oh yes,
always.
Classic.
All right, so before we talk about games, is there anything you want to talk about outside of the games, or maybe just anything about the convention in general? I guess. It seemed packed.
It did. It was packed at PAX East.
It was packed at PAX.
Yeah.
That was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We always take Saturday off. It's kind of just like we go Friday and Sunday. Is what we've been doing for forever now. Saturday just gives us a day to kind of cruise around Boston, do whatever. So I'm assuming Saturdays. Let the feet rest. Oh my god. You should definitely wear good shoes. I don't think either of us wore good shoes, and it's just like you'd sit down for a minute, then you'd get up and be like, "Why am I so old?"
Yeah.
Please let me sit down.
Yeah, it's bad.
So Friday's probably not as busy as Saturday, but it was still packed, and a little less packed on Sunday, I would say.
Oh, Sunday was nice. I feel like I had a little extra elbow room.
You had a little room to move.
Yeah, lines weren't as long either, I don't think.
One thing that always strikes me about PAX is the amount of people waiting in lines to play things like PUBG and Fortnite and like stuff that's been out forever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's for contests, so that's understandable. or like Mixer was there, so I think you were automatically in the hype zone if you were on a computer there or whatever. So like that's cool. But it just blows my mind when people go to these things where there's all this new stuff and they're just like,
waiting to play something that's already out there.
2-hour lines to play a game of Fortnite. It's insane.
Well, that's why I wanted to download the demo of Yoshi and be like, hey, start a line right here. You can play on my Switch line free, you know?
Yeah, pretty much play exactly what people are playing.
Mm-hmm.
Could have charged them, be like, hey, slip me $1. I'll let you play
right
Yoshi's Woolly World early.
Yeah. The other thing is, I couldn't wait in line to play the Days Gone either, because that's about to come right out too.
Yeah, anything, because that's, what is it?
The 26th of this month, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's like 10 days, we're 12 days away.
Yeah. I can wait for the hype for that. You know?
Right. I mean, that's a good point. And one last thing, at least for me, that I noticed that kind of bugged me this time was when developers who had really long demos only had a couple stations. And the first time I noticed it was when I was waiting to play After Party.
Okay, yeah.
And I wasn't waiting to play After Party at the Game Pass booth because it was there.
There's only one.
I was actually at the Night Studios booth, and they had 3 stands, I think. But their demos were like 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
you were there for a while. I think I played like 2 games when you were just standing there.
Probably at least. You went to the bathroom.
Yeah, I did.
I think I texted you at one point. I was like, dude, I'm going to be here like another hour just waiting to play this.
Yeah. Bad.
So I feel like if you're a smaller developer or
shorten your demo or
either, exactly.
TVs.
More stations or shorten your demo.
They would have to shorten it because there's just not that much space, though. I
that
think.
bugged me because then you go to places like what's the one with the new Divinity game?
Yep.
Divinity Fallen Heroes.
Yes.
That I think they put on 30-minute timers for you
Was it
when you
30?
sat down. It's either 20 or 30.
Yeah.
And we sat in line for that, and that's a 20 to 30-minute demo, but it didn't take long because they literally had like, I don't know, 14.
But that is a lot larger studio than the people that did After Party. That
yeah,
you have to think about
okay.
That. Like,
that's fair.
Did you see this? Like, they had like line from an actual boat wrapped around the whole thing, so you couldn't get in there.
They did have a pretty awesome setup, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So then I guess maybe just smaller developers need to
shorten the demo.
Like,
especially if there's like a line forming. I could feel like they want you to get the full experience, but don't you want more people playing it
to experience it and be able to talk about it? That's definitely true. Other than that, wasn't really anything unusual.
No,
as far as not the games.
Yeah, I didn't go in on the board game side as much. You know,
we definitely did that a lot more last year.
We played demos and stuff too.
Yeah, we did some demos, and then we also. That's when we started playing the Star Wars Destiny dice game, dice/card game.
Yep.
So that probably took up a lot of our time last time. This time we didn't really get into anything like that. And a couple of years ago we went into the Mercs game, the little tabletop game.
That was fun until we had to paint everything. Then it was just
like, it's like, all right, they give you these like perfectly painted figures that look so beautiful, and then they're like, you want to buy it, and you're like, yeah, and then you do it, and they're like. The pieces are like in separate pieces and not painted, and you're like, oh, so I have to glue them all together and paint them to make this look
semi-cool.
Yeah. Like my artwork obviously isn't going to compare to the professionals that have painted this thing.
Just a big blob of white paint on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we definitely didn't spend as much time in the tabletop section as we had before. But that just meant we had more time for games. So let's talk about some of those games.
Do it.
I don't even know where to start. I played so much stuff. I guess I'll start with The Messenger Picnic Panic.
Okay.
That's the free DLC coming out this summer for The Messenger. The Messenger, I didn't play it in 2018, I think, when it came out. I played it this year. And it's one of the first games I beat this year, but it was a game that I thought if I had played it in 2018, it might have made my top 5 list over some other stuff. So I love the game, obviously. I got to play Picnic Panic, which is going to be free to everybody who has it. This is the developer on this is Sabotage Studios, and it's brutally hard. The first
that's the game where you like the graphics change right throughout the game.
Yeah. Okay. So the big draw of the original Messenger was that you would switch back and forth from 8 and 16-bit. All your music changes, all of your graphics. just the looks of everything and the sounds of everything, really cool. They continued to do that in Picnic Panic.
Okay.
But what we had here was a demo, which is something they've showed in the previews, I think. But it reminded me of... You play Battletoads back in the day?
Yeah.
Do you remember the level when you're like in the stomach of the thing and you're on those cars? You're like going over bumps and stuff, and you can trade up in lanes. There's like 3 lanes, and you go up. This is pretty much identical to that. And it was a boss battle, and you had to fight this squid, and you're going super fast, and I was getting stressed out because the thing that kind of sucks sometimes about these demos, and it doesn't suck, it kind of just adds another layer of intensity to whatever you're doing, but you have 10 to 20 people standing right behind you.
Yeah.
Just staring at you.
This guy sucks. Look at him screw up again.
And that's the thing. The Messenger is a hard game, and I failed like 5, 6, 7 times this just over and over. And the demo ends once you beat the mini boss that they were giving you. Because I had watched multiple people do it, and then I got up there and I didn't stand a chance. So I set the game down. I was like, hey, thanks for letting me demo this, but I should stop wasting everyone's time. I need to get out of the way. But yeah, super excited about Picnic Panic. That's coming out this summer sometime, as far as I know. Or maybe this spring. I don't know. I should have wrote some dates down for some of this stuff. That would have been smart. Hey, to each their own. Watch out for that. Free, though, for everybody.
Free's always good.
How about a game you played?
I played, let me see here. It wasn't a great game, but it was kind of fun and interesting. Earth Defense Force Iron Rain, published by Yukes, Yukes.
Yeah, we don't pronounce things like that on this show.
All right, well, yeah, I just don't pronounce in general. But basically, this was like your... kind of reminded me of a little bit of Starship Troopers style.
Dude, exactly like Starship Troopers.
Yeah, you're a trooper. You have some like mech outfit on, and you're just defending Earth against ginormous bugs. And by ginormous bugs, I mean ants the size of towers.
Literally like ants and cockroaches.
Yeah. It was kind of fun. I played as a heavy tank mech, so I really couldn't like move too fast. I had a little like a burst speed, but I had railgun and a flamethrower, and I was able to take on the first boss, the first little enclave of ants that came after me. And then they were sending scorpions after me. It was kind of fun. It was interesting take on the whole "let me save Earth" type deal.
It was because this isn't the first Earth Defense Force game either, so it looks a lot like the older ones. And one thing I'll say is that in this, where we're at right now in gaming, I feel like you have AAA super highly polished games, or you have indie studios that maybe are knocking it down to like a lower bit count. But then you have studios like this that are making these weird AA games that are kind of dead for the most part. You didn't really see too many things that are like, hey, we tried the hardest we could and we don't have enough money, and that's what this game felt like.
Yeah, it was like they just threw stuff at you. They definitely could have changed it. It could be a lot better if they put extra time into it. But, I mean, for being on the PlayStation and just being... It was just a fun thing to kind of, like, destroy giant spiders and ants. But nothing I would go out of my way for. But it was just a fun game, you know. If that's something you like doing is blowing up ants, and have at it.
I feel like blowing up giant bugs.
Yeah, you know. It was just... It was a fun take onto it. And I never played any of the other... Iron Reigns or anything.
Earth Defense.
Yeah, no, I've never played any of those other ones. So it was all, like, brand new to me.
To me, it was like, if it ended up in Game Pass and it was free, sure. But other than that, probably not.
Yeah, I don't have enough space on my external hard drive, so
it's not worth, literally not worth the space.
Yeah. Great. That sounds terrible. Sorry.
Up next, I think we both played this, Man of Medan.
Yes.
This is from Supermassive. They were the people that made Until Dawn. When Until Dawn came out, I'm pretty sure I made you sit down in my bedroom at the time and play through the entire game.
Yeah, it was very forceful too.
Like, it was.
Sit down, play.
You're not allowed to leave this room till you're done.
Yeah, it was a good game. Very story driven. Consequences where you can either choose. You can either go with your heart or your head, and then you'd make the decision based on that.
What'd you play with?
I played with a controller.
Did you play with your heart or your head?
I played with my my heart. That was the first choice, but then I went back and forth.
Once you were actually like in there.
I noticed I came upon you. You were playing the end of it. You took the same path as I did. It's tried to save the guy. as well too.
Playing with our hearts.
Yep.
Ran.
Yeah, I did watch actually someone run away. He just looks at him and she's like, "Bye," and kind of waves and just walks away. You know. So I kind of like that aspect of the games where you have different choices and always.
It seems meaningful. Like choices that actually affect the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely true, and it looks super polished, just like Until Dawn. It's like the prettiest Telltale game you'll ever play.
Mm-hmm. I like the scariness of it. I'm a fan of kind of like horror games and everything like that. So that I like a little bit more action, but like I said, if I had time to kind of just sit down and didn't want to read a book, so
you are gonna have time because I'm gonna force you into my now office instead of my bedroom
to play the game,
to play that whole game.
Fair enough.
The awesome thing about this game, though, is Until Dawn was a PlayStation exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
This is for everyone,
mm-hmm.
which is great. I'm glad that Supermassive got out of whatever contract they had with just Sony, so everybody can experience this, because Until Dawn was a ton of fun.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed pretty much everything about it, and like I had multiple people play it while I watched it, and I also played it myself. But it's like, if I could go through that 8-hour game, 6-hour game, however long it was, multiple times, I bet you can do that with this as well.
It's saying something for the game.
Yeah, and this is cool because this is part of an anthology, I'm pretty sure. So this is going to be like one story in their horror like genre. So we're going to get this story, Man of Medan, then we're also going to get more stories to come from Supermassive that are about certain horror things. And I think that's what they do really well. So
nice.
Pumped about that game.
And also I have to say that the two hot like sailor women they had out there were very, very cute and hot. Even the one in the zombie was still pretty attractive.
I think the two hot women were hot. Yes, I couldn't agree more. All right, you have something? I got a whole list here. So
yeah, if you want to go again, I don't have as big of a list as you do.
Well, some of these are games we both played.
Exactly.
So right next to the Supermassive booth, we actually had the Double Fine booth.
Yes.
Which they were showcasing their new game, Rad.
Mm-hmm.
Rad was first debuted at a Nintendo Direct a couple weeks before PAX, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was just a Switch exclusive. Turns out it's not, so that's cool.
I could see it being perfect for the Switch.
I'm definitely going to buy it on the Switch, for sure, because when in doubt, buy it on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing beats gaming on the toilet.
Yep. Gaming on the go.
So, Rad. This is Tim Schafer's next game. Double Fine with people that made Psychonauts, Broken Age, some other games.
Psychonauts was fun.
Psychonauts is a lot of fun, and I think this game seems just as zany.
I think the title of the game is...
spot on?
Yes, it's very rad.
Nailed it on the head. It's rad.
There was like three people you could choose from the beginning.
I picked the Mohawk Man.
Yep, I picked the black kid.
Speed. Speed's important.
Oh, that his name, or is that just what he was about?
I was just saying he's probably fast.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he was the guy I chose. I got almost to the very end. I almost won a fanny pack. I was super stoked about it. But I missed the first little thing I had to unlock, so I had to go around the board twice. And when I went around the second time, I lost too much health, and then so when I was fighting the boss, I was screwed.
So that was like the part of this game. They were like, hey, if you can beat the final boss of this level, we'll give you a fanny pack.
Mm-hmm.
I think we went in there, or I might have went in there before you, actually.
You were slightly ahead of me.
Did I? So I went in before you, just died pretty quickly, and I was like, well, I guess I'll go watch Lewis. So I was just standing behind you watching, and you got all the way to the final boss, and then it was just kind of... If you had some more health, would have been good.
I knew I was getting close because the girl kept checking on me, and then she walks back with a fanny pack, and I got all excited inside, and I was like, oh yeah, but I think that could have kind of made me lose too. Then I put the controller down, and I felt really bad for the
person who had to play it next or clean it.
Yeah, I don't think they cleaned it. I'm pretty sure she just picked it up and like looked at me as I was walking away.
It's like, why is this so wet?
Did he drop it in a pool? I don't know.
For those of you not aware of what we're talking about, Lewis has real sweaty hands.
Yeah, it was a good game. The game's good when my hands start sweating because I'm really intense.
When he leaves a puddle at the booth, that's how you know.
It gets you, get your
heart pumping.
Yeah,
And we didn't really explain what the game was at all.
No.
But it's a top-down third-person game that you gain like powers via radiation. The game's called Rad, but I would say that's
Short for radiation.
Yep. And it also seems like a rad game.
Yeah.
But so you get different power-ups. Like at one point I had wings. Did you ever pick up wings?
I had the spike and then something else.
So you could like, yeah,
and then spikes would come out of my body.
So yeah, you can pick up these different power-ups to kind of mod your actual person you're using.
It's like a hack and slash type deal too, you know. You just hit the A button, jump, roll.
Completely agree. And
it has a cool graphics. It's like
I would say the art style I enjoy more than I thought I was going to when I saw like seeing the trailer and then actually playing this game. Two completely different outcomes for me. I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then getting to actually play it, I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
Especially if we're at like a $19.99 price point when we come in, because I don't think it'll be much more than that.
I could see $39.
$39? Yeah. Hey, I hope not. All right, moving on from that, we can hop on over to
Warsaw.
Let's hop on over to Warsaw?
Yeah.
All right, let's hop on over to Warsaw.
I don't know if you didn't play this game, Warsaw. It's on Steam right now, I'm pretty sure. Developer is Pixelated Milk. Great name.
The best kind of milk.
And the publisher is Gaming Company. It's basically like a Darkest Dungeon, but in Warsaw. So it's like World War II themed. I was talking to the developers about it. They were saying like the people that they use are kind of like historically accurate. They actually did in Warsaw. They had more women fighting than one would think. So some of your teammates are actually women. The guns that they use in there are
all accurate to the time.
Yeah, which is really nice. It has that same kind of turn-based tactics as Darkest Dungeon, but you can actually move your characters around. You can kind of like take cover behind like things like barrels that they have on the field, but it's still a linear, like a line game, you know. So
it's a turn-based game. Yeah. Like their troops on one side, your troop on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
But then, so if you had like snipers or archers or whatever your long-range people, could you put them at the back of the row? That kind of thing.
You can move them anywhere you want on the board.
Okay.
So like I said, there was like cover. You could get behind sandbags to kind of help you, a little bit better. You have healers that can like obviously heal your people, but they do have to be within one space of the other person to be able to heal them. They work with synergy off of each other. I could just feel it being a real punishing game, kind of like Darkest Dungeon was. I was talking to the developer. I was like, hey, I love the game. It's just the demo that you let me play was far too easy. And the guy laughed. He's like, yeah, we kind of made the demo a little bit easier than a normal game.
Don't want to put people off.
Exactly. That's kind of what he was saying. I was like, all right, cool, because I blew through the demo. But yeah, all in all, it was really great. Fun, fun game. Right up my alley for type of.
I say you put a lot of time into Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
So
I still pick it up every now and again, and I'll play it a little bit here and there. Just a great game all around. I'm excited to play it when it comes to the Switch. I asked him, making sure that it was coming to the Switch. He laughed and said, "Of course, that's really where we want to go." I'm like, okay.
I mean, which is good. All those little turn-based games like that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, they just have bigger text than Darkest Dungeon.
That was the worst.
Good God.
Yeah.
That's bad. All right. Let's go to a game that I played and I don't think you played. This is Outer Wilds. I played this at the Game Pass booth. This is coming day and date to Game Pass, which is awesome. So if you have that, you're going to get this. This is made by Mobius Digital. So with this game, this was pretty much the first place we went was the Game Pass booth. Mm-hmm. I plugged. It was kind of cool because they gave you this little survey where it's like they asked you a bunch of questions and then the outcome of your questions picked what Game Pass game you should go play.
Yeah, I like that. That was nifty.
But I knew I wanted to play Outer Wilds, so it's like if they asked about like what is your preferred method of transportation and they had a bunch of options, I was like rocket ship for sure. So I did get Outer Wilds. Got up there, and then I made the mistake. Right at the beginning of the demo, there's a fork in the road, and it's like, do you want to go through the tutorial part of this, or do you want to go directly to your spaceship, get your launch codes, and go? I made the mistake of taking the tutorial route, where they literally had to teach me like how to jump, how to duck, and do all of this stuff. Finally got to my spaceship, and I was spending way too much time talking to like NPCs and stuff because everybody had something to say, had a little story or whatever. Mm-hmm. I finally got to my spaceship, put my launch codes in, started to take off from the planet that I was on, And then the dude tapped me on the shoulder and he was like, all right, sorry, your time's up. And I was like, oh, dude, I just got this thing up in space. If I had just gone directly to the stupid spaceship,
you would have had it.
I already would have been up in space. It was really awesome, though, that my demo ended there, kind of, just because it made me wonder what else is coming in that game. It seems like a complete exploration type of game.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was so quick to leave that one planet, I'm assuming there's multiple more planets for me to go explore. You're definitely some type of weird alien, because everyone I was talking to was an alien, but I don't think I ever actually got to see myself. It's a first-person game.
Yep.
It did
I saw you cooking marshmallows. I think that might have killed some of your time too, though.
Yeah. If you walk by a campfire and it's like, press X to toast a marshmallow, like, I'm not gonna not hit X. I'm not gonna walk away. Come on now.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next in that game, and because it's going to be in Game Pass, day and date, I'll be there day one, seeing what happens when I get off that planet. I encourage everybody else to give it a shot.
It looked interesting.
Yeah.
I actually played two. Operencia, I'm pretty sure that's how.
Oh, Operencia, which is already out in Game Pass, which is cool.
It's another kind of RPG turn-based game. It's a first-person. It's a grid-based movement game.
Which is weird when you say it's a first-person game and also that it's like grid-based.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have games like that.
No. It's pretty interesting. You can the whole map is all obviously squares, and you can either move forward or left and right, and you have to fully turn your body left to fully turn your body right to actually go those ways, which was kind of the most annoying part about it. I
had heard, because Doc has actually played this since it's been in Game Pass, and I think him and Shine were talking about how that also bugged them.
Yeah. So, you can't just be kind of looking to the left and turn. You have to almost complete your whole body that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Other than that, I really enjoyed the combat of it. You would see the enemy, you can kind of hide and walk around them to ambush them.
Yeah,
if you want.
Flank them.
Yep. And then once you're in combat, there's 3 levels. They can be right next to you, medium, or far away. Obviously, if they're far away, you want to attack them with some ranged weapons. Same thing if they're close, you don't want to use a ranged weapon to attack them. Another turn-based game. The older I get, the more I kind of enjoy that, because my reaction time's not as quick anymore.
You need that time in between turns to really plot out what you're gonna do.
Mm-hmm. So which is enjoyable, and since it's on Game Pass, free games.
It's already out.
Exactly. It was very fun. I played that the second time around, just because I think that's what I got on my little test too.
In the testing?
Yeah.
Oh, so you played that twice?
No, the first time I played Void Bastards.
Oh, well, hey, let's just stick with the games that are in Game Pass, because I also have some. Go with Void Bastards.
Yeah, that was the one I first got. It's also in space, so you could have accidentally got that one.
I may have preferred that, actually. Yeah. I think after watching you play it.
Void Bastards, it was cool. It had a shell shaded graphics, kind of like
Borderlands.
Yep, just kind of Borderlands. But you're in space. I didn't really know quite what was going on. I was just kind of running around. I did get lost, but then I was just kind of killing anything that got in my way. I just wish I had more time onto it. I think I was getting frustrated because I was losing oxygen and dying.
So is that like a resource you have to pick up? You have to pick up oxygen or pick up something for your tank or something, maybe?
It wasn't oxygen. I think I got poisoned or something.
So you were just slowly watching your health go down either way?
Yeah, and I already used all my tokens to, wash myself off the first time. But yeah, I could definitely see once it is in Game Pass, picking it up and playing it. I could see it being really fun.
Free games, why not?
Yeah, free.
Yeah. It was definitely the art style that stuck out to me. And it's a first-person game, right?
Yep, first-person. First-person shooter.
Definitely looks cool. Another one in Game Pass. I actually put these two together. The game in Game Pass is Blazing Chrome, so that's going to be day and date. That's made by Joy Masher, and that's coming to Game Pass. And then the other game that I tied in with this was Iron Meat. These are 2 games that remind me exactly of Contra.
Okay.
So in my head, this is just going to be the most polished, updated, upgraded version of Contra you could be playing, which I think is great. Blazing Chrome, literally, I played it and I was like, are we playing Contra? And the guy was like, it's heavily inspired by Contra. It's like, yeah, I could tell. But they both look awesome, and I don't know if you've played Contra. You get different weapons. You're shooting wherever you're aiming your joystick, so that's something to get used to. This does have a stopper. I think if you hold left trigger, you can actually make your guy stop in place, so that'll help you aim where you're shooting rather than running and pointing like diagonally up. You could stop yourself to like shoot backwards without having to run backwards, without having to spin and stuff.
Yeah.
If you've played Contra, you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, they both just look like sweet updated Contra games. So if you're into Contra, definitely check out Blazing Chrome and Iron Meat. Blazing Chrome is probably the better game, but Iron Meat is definitely the better name.
Oh, yeah, by far. So, you can't go wrong with Iron Meat.
If Blazing Chrome had just been called Iron Meat, we'd have the perfect game, I think.
Yep.
And then the last game that I got to play that was from Game Pass was After Party, which we talked about earlier. I waited
far too long
to play it. It was a nice sized demo. Also, I think that I probably didn't have to do it. This is made by Night School. They're the people that made Oxenfree, so it's a heavily story-based game. And the concept of this one is that you and your best friend, I'm pretty sure, I think it was my best friend, maybe it was my cousin or something, you died, you ended up in hell, and there's a loophole to get back to Earth. And that loophole is if you can outdrink Lucifer, you can get yourself back up to Earth.
It's pretty good deal.
It's what a strange concept.
Right?
But from what I played, it's super funny, it's super witty. They have the chick that played Iden Verso in the Battlefront 2 games, Janina Avantgarde or something. I can't think of her name right now. She does a great job. I think the game's hilarious. I got to play some beer pong. I got to drink some mixed drinks.
All against the devil.
All against the devil. One cool hook in your dialogue choices, though, is depending on what type of drink you're drinking, you get certain dialogue choices. So if you're drinking like something that would be like the equivalent of like a whiskey that gets you riled up and like angry, you'll have these like red text boxes so you can tell that this is a dialogue choice because you've been drinking
that's cool, an
angering type of liquor, I guess.
Got you.
So that's a cool little twist. And then other than that, it literally looks exactly like Oxenfree, down to the dialogue boxes, the characters.
Yeah, I definitely see that too.
I'm not mad about this at all. If they keep making games that aren't like, this isn't Oxenfree 2, and I think that's a good thing. This is just a completely different thing.
Same type of world type,
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if they keep making similar games like this but in different settings with completely different characters, I'm on board. I will definitely be playing After Party. I think it's probably the funniest game I played there. But yeah, that's I think that's all of the Game Pass games. You didn't play anything else there, did you?
I did. Give me 1 second. The other game that I played, Eagle Island, was a fun game.
That wasn't in Game Pass.
That was?
Wasn't.
Oh, wasn't. Oh, I didn't know we were still on Game Pass games.
I said, are there any more games that were in Game Pass that you want to talk about?
I thought you asked me if there's any other games that I played.
Yeah, go to Eagle Island, though. I watched you play this one, and it cool.
Eagle
cool
Island.
Platformer.
Yeah. So exactly what it sounds like. You're on an island with an eagle. It's a platformer. Basically, you can take this eagle, and when you're jumping, you point your arm out, and the eagle will go attack whatever that is.
You're pretty much like throwing your eagle at enemies
to attack and everything. Different kind of concept, It's a fun platformer run across the screen. I do like the concept of the eagle. You can get different upgrades or like different.
It looked like different actual eagles.
Yeah,
like different colored ones.
Barn owl and a regular raven or bald eagle. I don't know.
I think you said at one point, or maybe I just thought this, that it kind of reminded you of like Angry Birds, like having different type of birds that you're throwing that are doing different things.
Yep, and then you can put like I think you can also equip abilities to them too.
So so you had like upgrade paths for not only yourself but also for each individual eagle, which is cool.
So I like the in-depth part about the game like that, which is very nice. it's all around pretty fun game. Different type of concept, being able to throw an eagle at somebody instead of like a knife or something.
That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of platformers out nowadays, so you really need to be doing at least something kind of different.
Yep.
So there's something kind of different was, hey, we'll let you throw birds at people.
Oh, right. I like throwing birds.
Because no game
lets you
has
throw
done
birds.
that.
Except for you can throw bird eggs or dino eggs.
In that game you could?
No, in
Are
other
you saying
games.
in other games?
Yeah.
Or just...
Yeah, but that was a fun game. What was it? Developer was Pixelnick, and the publisher was Screenwave Media.
All right. Hey, good info.
So thanks, guys. That was fun.
All right. I've got one more of my own, and then we can talk about, at least this is the last one I have down for both of us.
Okay.
But the one I was talking about right now is called Moving Out.
Okay.
This reminds me exactly of Overcooked. This is going to be the perfect couch co-op game. Mm-hmm. The concept here, you're not in the kitchen any longer. You are now movers.
Ooh, fun.
And you're helping people move out.
Just like what I like doing.
So you'll be set into a level that has like the layout of a house. You'll see a bunch of different items in the house, and then you have a list of what needs to be moved and put out on the moving truck. So then you and whoever you're playing with, like I said, this is a perfect couch co-op split screen game. So you're going to go grab those items, you're going to bring them out the truck. What happens sometimes is that you have things like couches or like bigger items where I'm going to need you to go to this end of the couch, and I'm going to go to this end of the couch. We're going to have to navigate around corners, whatever, and pivot, right, and get the stuff out of the truck. You can also throw things. At one point, I'm pretty sure I threw something out a top story window down to a guy that was on the ground.
Nice.
I was walking by this booth, and the developer was like, hey, like, are you by yourself? And I was like, oh, at the moment, yeah. So I went over there and I played with him. Super cool, super frantic. It's going to be one of those games where if you're playing with Charlie and Charlie can't manage to figure out how to navigate the back end of the couch, you're going to get real annoyed, just like in Overcooked when it's like, why are you chopping up the meat and then dropping it on the ground and leaving it there, or just all the number of other things that you could have done wrong there. So you can... I don't know. It reminded me exactly like Overcooked, even down to like the art style. It's very cartoony.
But just with furniture.
Right. And it looks like a lot of fun. Or it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What's just really funny to me is they're taking real life things that no one likes doing, like moving furniture and making it into a game. So
I was going to say and cooking, but I guess some people enjoy cooking.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
But for me, it's like that's something I never want to do. But I'll play Overcooked any day.
Wouldn't it be nice if playing Overcooked actually
made my
food?
meals?
That would be awesome.
Megan, come here and play with me. We need to make cheeseburgers, and then they're going to be in front of us.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Would be great.
One day.
Next game we got this is the one we both played, and we kind of touched on it earlier, was Divinity Fallen Heroes.
Oh my god, this is my jam.
You'll probably have more to say about this. I didn't play Divinity Original Sin 1 or 2, at least not that much of either. This is Larian Studios, the creators of Divinity 1 and 2. This is a completely new take on Divinity.
Yes, it is. So if you know from the original Divinity, it's very story-driven. You're one character, and you have a teammate of squads, like a teammate of at least 4, and most 4, sorry, at least 2, and you have to go through the story arc and follow the missions and try to discover everything. But you're literally working with your people. You can level them up like a regular RPG. Still tactical game, but the new twist to it is it's more like XCOM, where you have one leader and then you have a squad of people and you go into a single mission. You fight that mission. You can lose your lower squad tier people that they regenerate every match. If you keep them, you can kind of upgrade their abilities. Obviously, with the main characters, you can continue to level them up. But it's not like I'm going to move from one spot to the other. It's you go into a realm of combat, and then you leave that realm. You go back to your boat.
And that's where you have a lot of your like dialogue too. Yep. Like it does seem pretty story driven.
Oh yeah, that's still the same, but it's not like an exploration game anymore. It's like go back to your ship, do your stuff,
have your talks, do your upgrades,
make your ship go somewhere as you're talking to the people, and then you say you arrive in Italy, basically. Not obviously, that's not in the game.
No, yeah, I got
but
you.
then you unload your ship, you play that one battle, then you go back to your ship, upgrade your stuff, go back out. Instead of just constantly, taking your bedroll, taking a nap onto that. I like that aspect a little bit more. The other difference is in Divinity Sins is the way that the combat went. It was like, say, it was all based on speed. So if I was really quick, I'd go first. Then an enemy can go. Then another enemy could go. Then my teammate could go. But now it's my whole team, and then your whole team goes. So with that, it's easier to set up combos. Kind of just easier to attack, basically, or easier to get killed. Because if you screw yourself, you have to let all 5 of them go at once or whatever. They did introduce a new element to it, and also introduce guns. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. I'm very, very, very pumped for this game, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, I think if anything, I might be more likely to play this one because of like the XCOM feel of it. Because like I loved XCOM too.
Oh my goodness, me too.
I played hours and hours of that at some point, and then all the DLC went on sale, and I bought all the DLC, and then I didn't play it after that.
You didn't play any of the DLCs?
not really, no. I think I turned some of it on, started over. That was it.
Yeah, definitely missing out on that game.
It's cool, and I think that having this and then Divinity Original Sin 3, I think will be okay. I don't think you're pissing off the people that love Divinity 1 and 2. So
not at all. Definitely a different take, but I think they're going in the right direction. I remember last year when I was talking to them about Divinity 2, I was like, hey, this kind of reminds me of XCOM. And they're like, yeah, a little bit, but it's more like this is your character type deal.
This is your one guy. You can roam around.
Edit him to your liking. But then when I saw this one, I was like, did they listen to me? It was weird.
They listened. I mean, I think those are... We definitely played other games. I just think those...
ones that stand out the most.
Were the ones that stood out the most to me. Did you have anything else?
Fall into Silence. It was interesting. It kind of reminded me of Witcher. Just not as polished. But it was very survival based. You could gather wood. You could ride dog sleds, which was interesting.
That was my favorite part.
Riding dog sleds, yeah.
Riding the dog sleds. It reminded me of The Witcher, kind of. You had mentioned that to me earlier.
Just not as polished. But definitely I could see it kind of being fun. If you actually really put some time into it, I could see it going somewhere. But with the 5 minutes that I was able to play, I was just kind of like scooping a little bit of the ice cream. I wanted a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. I think
that was about it, really.
Nothing else worth mentioning. We also, that's the one thing that can be said. If you're only there 2 days, you only have so much time. And pretty much everything has lines.
Oh, yeah. It's like Disney World.
Yeah. Those were some of the standouts for us, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right. Well, hey, Lou, thanks for being on the show. It was fun doing this again.
Risky. It was very fun.
And there's
Even
the dogs also telling you that they had a great time.
They had fun too.
All right, well, we're going to go record the real show, and our special guest is going to be WaterLou.
Hey, don't tell them that.
Spoilers. I'm pretty sure this is coming out after that, so hopefully it's a good episode. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in to this special edition of Cross Atlantic Gaming. We'll catch you guys next year at PAX East 2020.
Good evening and good night.
There's no more.